Hey friend, MSK here. This is a document on cybersecurity implementation, completely a technical approach document specific to textile industry. A position paper is something which is mostly not too much of technical contents, but overall business contents with some IT information and threats, vulnerability, all that in an overall perspective, which is intended for the CEOs and a director kind of non-IT savvy people, wherein this is a technical document which is usually presented and prepared for CSO or IT security managers or security directors. So I'm assuming one textile giant called Southside Inc. Who would like to put a lot of measures in cybersecurity in their enterprise throughout the globe, for which I have created this technical document. Any technical document or even a position paper should start with a SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunities and threat, if it is intended for a major sector or an industry as a whole. So now I started doing that, and in the footer we could see various processes very specific to this industry, starting from fibering, yarn, fabrication, pre-testing, dye, treatment, production, marketing, transport, service and audit compliance or legal compliance or compliance to industry specific standards. So keeping this process of textile industry very specifically in mind, the SWOT analysis starts with strength, where industry integration, global demand, backward linkage with suppliers, forward linkage with customers, flexible manpower, where this is a very unique industry where there is a almost equivalent mix of skilled and unskilled manpower. For leveraging this strength from IT side, IT enabled supply chain management, geo compliance, data governance, risk management and compliance, and privacy assurance, talent through artificial intelligence kind of thing, because that the skilled manpower can be replaced through artificial intelligence, unskilled also to a great extent through automation. In terms of weaknesses, this industry has got a very unique weakness. There are no modern machines, unlike automotive or pharmacy. No diversification. Variegation is not present. No forecasting available, data forecasting. Predictive analytics are very poor comparatively. It is purely buyer dependent and isolated by the banking institutions because they are not up to speed in terms of acquiring the digital world. For that, the IT could benefit them in terms of providing the modern MRP, latest infrastructure, predictive big data analytics and SMAC, social mobile analytics and computing, and providing some kind of a digital maturity from what they are today. There are so many opportunities because of international buyers, skill enhancement possibility, innovative product options are there, open casting and swift feedback from customers are something which are opportunities. To better utilize this opportunity, a lot of high-speed network is required for traveling data to international buyers quickly as possible. Talent pool, AI-driven automation, which I have already spoken about, and secured ERP, and SASE zero trust architecture, secure access service edge kind of an architecture. That these are all something suggested to tap the opportunities. Threats are always business side I'm talking about, which will lead to IT threats also because of the digitization and IT transformation. On-demand shops and e-shops are always threat to this industry. economy and politics are playing a vital role, because that is neither considered as agriculture nor as weaving. It is sitting in between. Economy and politics are equally like environmental issue, equally they are impacting them. High production costs, because they have to depend on a lot of natural and different kind of resources. Freight on board is also, because of that, is high for textile industry. To handle this threat, digitizing the outlets, on demand and e-shops will help. Business continuity management, all of that, EHS, that is environmental health safety standards, acquiring them, and textile industry 4.0 proceeding towards that evolution. Middleware ITSM management properly with the dealers, wholesalers, retailers through IT will help. So understanding the SWOT and the resulting journey towards IT transformation, there are so many risks we have to keep in mind, very specific to textile industry. As I keep mentioning every slide, I am considering only select 5. It may not be top 5 also, but select 5 which are matching the processes of textile industry, and the processes also will be running in every slide, starting from product, then market, delivery, service and legal. Though there are similar line of business in other industry, but that vary industry to industry. But here I am aligning these processes which are grouped from the first slide into 5 buckets, where I am going to talk about various risks which these industries, textile industries are facing. Because of a very heavy competition, cyber warfare is always there. Unlike fashion industry or automotive, where the standards and legal requirements are very strict, which are already little matured, wherein in textile industry, because they are not perishable and they are not harmful like others, the agility and response is very important, where the cyber warfare is something which is happening for a quite long time, with whatever limited IT digitization in place. The malware like ransomware, though it is not reported widely because of their lack of popularity, most of the textile industries are getting affected in the past 3 years through one ransomware or another, or one malware or another. So social engineering and side channel attacks are very unique in fabric industry, to grab the design pattern, sketch, customer data, cost data in public, and if ransom is not paid, they will shame the company in public to kill their market. So after the warfare, cyber warfare in printing, including 3D printing, sieving, pressing, weaving, the basic source, which are design patterns, sketch, customer data, all are stolen through these malware. And IP infringement is another big challenge in this industry, because of the awareness issue and less number of standards. Dynamic and multiple artificial intelligence, big data are available in textile branded textile industries, which are easily taken away by somebody, and they can start organization from where the established organization is there today. Another big challenge, which is also common to other industry, but in textile industry, statistics says the denial of service and man in the middle attacks are much higher with whatever limited digitization they have done, because of the unhealthy competition and high profile hackers playing a vital role in grabbing the data to duplicate it. Finally, privacy breach. Though all organizations are having customer data, but if you take pharmaceutical, where the PII and PHI or the protected health information is little secured with the law and also by the individual organizations, where in textile industry, because they are not harmful, they are not so perishable and critical, there is no importance given to the privacy of customers. After all, they are going to buy dress but because of that, the entire mood of the customer, contacts, behaviors, their patterns, their payment methods, their payment cards details, their social style statements, their taste are all stolen and damaged in public. So having seen the risk, these risks are not inborn. They are coming from outside threat. One is from the product side, industrial espionage by competitors or any unknown hackers on the OT ICS, operating technology and industrial control system of textile industries are the highest when compared to the other industries. In terms of market, there are so many fake social media profiles available which are trying to pose as a reputed company and selling the bogus materials, garments, fabrics or any silk or non-silk variety. By stealing the IP domain of the branded established companies, their designs all are stolen and there are fake markets available. While delivering also, identity is being stolen, data infringement is happening. Delivery means not only material delivery but also data delivery. The crypto jacking is highest in this industry, garment industry. Because that shelf life of a product is longer, as I keep saying, it is not a perishable when compared to food industry or FMCG, wherein the style life is very short. Shelf life is higher. So the other one is service area, where intrusion and botnets in the name of help desk, botnets are getting injected into the fashion industry. And unlike insurance companies or finance companies, where the payment is the first involvement, where users used to be very cautious, wherein in textile industry they are not going to start off with the payment. They will be doing some research on the size and inner wears, all that, where the data or pictures of people are stolen from the access through DNS pollutioning or so many other things which we are going to see the vulnerability later. Because they are handling the health related active, passive and smart raw materials for a kid or for women, the service is some threat gateway or threat vector through which this industry is shaken up. Finally, legal. Though it is final, it is a very important thing. The geospecific environmental health related legal regulatory issues are there because of less number of standards or less number of monitoring, that results in cyber espionage breaches in the textile industry. Because that requires living things and natural resources for as a raw material, unlike other industries. Maybe food industry to some extent I agree, but textile industry is very prominent in this field. These threats are exploiting the vulnerabilities of the textile industry, as we have seen the opportunities and weaknesses that are playing a vital role of this industry, where the vulnerabilities are very easily exploited by the threats. The vulnerability, I am just talking only about, not about the business vulnerability like market not available, presence not available. I am talking only about the IT vulnerabilities here. Hardware. Unlike automotive or pharma, textile industry have no central inventory. But in automotive it is very important because moving components are there. Even the end product is moving on its own through a driver or driverless. The IT assets, materials, tools, finished goods are not stored in a central data center or data lake or cloud for anytime, anywhere access. There are so many obsolete EOL IT assets which are not aiding the modern healthy fabric 4.0 needs. And it is because of the negligence in this sector also, which is cropped up over a period of several decades. On the software side, which is serving the market to a great extent, products are served by hardware mainly because of the machinery, OT, ICS, all that, wherein the market is served predominantly by software like CRM, SEM, PLM, ERP, MRP, CLM, code life cycle management, all that are very age old. The go to market is taking longer time because of the CAD CAM or CNC systems or machineries which are digitized are not suitable for the recent trend of fabric industry 4.0 adoption. That is another big vulnerability. For delivery, not only product delivery but also information delivery, networks are very important. Textile industry is the statistics says only 21% of the textile industries have got next generation firewalls, wherein their networks are heterogeneous. They are connecting with customer, partner, supplier, manufacturer, wholesaler, retailers, warehouses, depots or retail shops, but they are still using traditional uncontrolled network which is prone to a lot of APT, DOS, MITM attack which we have seen earlier. Another one is after sale service. Unlike car or unlike the medicine or pharma, several other industries, the after sale service is vested only with very prominent high ticket companies. So therefore no due importance is given on database, either on the skilled unskilled labor or on the material, partner, customer. Unlike other sector, textile sector is not holding that kind of protected secured data. That leads to infringement, shadow IT, unsecured dimmed or due, data in motion, data at rest and data in use without any DLP in place, and that is also resulting in regulatory and regulatory violations and customer dissatisfaction. Finally, legal, the application what we use are not concentrating on the legal requirement, whether it is ICS, OT or IT, ICT, they still use mainframe. Today, one industry, if I have to quote, which is using mainframe in manufacturing is textile manufacturing. They are using legacy, untested, unfit software for the dynamic needs of the global market for their garments. Lack of standards also adding fuel to the fire, where duplicatable brands are in place, proprietary IPs are stolen, printed textures are duplicated, the fabrication libraries are stolen, but there are no proper insurance mechanism or proper controls, cyber insurance or controls prevailing in this industry. Keeping the vulnerability, threat and risk together, just for an understanding, I am summarizing here top 5 or select 5 vulnerability which we have seen already, in terms of product, market, delivery, service and legal, whatever we have seen earlier. I am just connecting them, how this vulnerability, which are very unique to textile sector, is exploited by digital threats, which are again very unique to textile sector, which results in various cyber risks which are more prevailing in textile sector. Not that they are no other sectors are very comfortable, but in textile sectors there are other areas where the other sectors are suffering, wherein here the vulnerability added with threat is giving a very high amount of risk. And if we are applying the control, the risk will get reduced, but the residual risk is very high. Based on the residual risk, where the industry or the management has got to accept, is much higher in these areas for textile industry than other industry. For example, ICS, OT, last point I am taking, application, fabrication library, whatever we have seen, they are open, they lack privacy. And because of that, there are environmental level, PII, PHI threats are there, legal implications are there, all that result in legal penalty, sanction, ban, rejection, privacy exposure to the textiles industry, and non-compliance also is surfacing, and that lead to lot of loss of customer, loss of market, loss of business as a whole, and completely the company is getting phased out. There are so many companies which disappeared because of their lack of maturity in this field. This is one example I am quoting, but the same is not applicable for other factors to the same volume, length and breadth. and width. So, having summarized this, the VTR, I want to take you to the C, last item, which is control in the VTRC approach of a technical documentation, which is very important for cybersecurity implementation. The modern, I am splitting them into two controls, two sets of controls. One is modern security control, which are very textile industry specifics, and generic controls which are applicable for other industries also, but that should not be ignored in textile industry because of various vulnerabilities, threats and risks we have seen earlier. For this, I am creating one technology flow or implementation, IT implementation flow, starting from procurement, production of software code, procurement of hardware, fabrication, tracking data, inventorizing various IT assets, servicing them, auditing them, marketing them, transporting them, after transportation, reservicing them, complying to industrial standards. So this process, starting from product, market, delivery, service, ending with legal, I am splitting the controls into three for one bucket. That is, if I take product related controls, modern controls, which are very, very important for textile industry, very unique for textile industries, RFID, QR, NFC, NFT. This is very less, excepting barcode or QR code in food market, only on the packed items, not on pizza or anything, readily edible. In textile industry, every established industries are now forced to use, and they are using RFID, QR code, NFC, NFT kind of thing for scanning the assets or products. They use the mix of ICS, Industrial Control System, information communication technology for using RFID, QR code kind of things, quick reference code kind of thing, and OT, operating technology in their shop floor, and IIoT, where all are product oriented with the skilled and unskilled population mix up equally almost. Hardening is very important. That is the second important control. There is another critical thing, next generation firewall and unified threat management software defined network, which is called here Enclave NGF. That is very important for protecting the product. Again, this is important equally in other industry, but this is lacking in textile industry, where more focus to be given. If I take the second bucket, market, the robotic process automation from end-to-end vertical and horizontal integration in the overall the production life cycle, product life cycle, fabric industry 4.0 adoption will take care of much of the security requirements. Though the industry 4.0 requires its own internal security control, but any recent revolution and evolution of the production system will be much better secured than the previous one. And FOSINT is very, very highly important for textile industry, free open source software intelligence, and OWASP support. Though IT industry also equally in need of OWASP, IT industry use a lot of proprietary applications and tools or software tools, wherein textile industry is something which is running on open source tools, but lot of intelligence is not built in. OWASP vulnerabilities are not getting updated, so that is another control important to textile industry. Though they are using AI, ML, machine language, all that, and the API bots or mixture for their ICS especially, they are not secured. Securing them is another control. If I take the third bucket, delivery, while we want to deliver a material, the application which is holding the product and transmitting from A to B, that should go through the dynamic application security testing, fuzzing, and because it is transacted through website, web application firewall, or CASB, cloud security, cloud access security broker, these are all very important for the data delivery as well. Then zero trust security or SOSA, which we have seen Secure Access Service Edge, and TAP, DPI are all very deep packet inspection are all very important. Data fabric in the data lake and DLP, data loss prevention, and advanced threat prevention, all are very equally important for the delivery side. On the service side, supply chain management or the blockchain based the smart document management solution, metaverse or AR, VR, augmented reality, extended reality, virtual reality are very highly popular, or that is very primary for advanced fashion technology, where people can go and stand in front of a mirror and they can select a virtual button of a particular picture of a garment. So that metaverse is something which is a very high level control, like blockchain for textile industry, which is very unique benefit which it can leverage. And cyber risk insurance, because many a times this industry is suffering the most, though pharmaceutical and food industries are also equally facing this challenge, but there are so many regulatory norms like FDA and all, wherein for textile industry there are no such enforcements. And finally, on the legal side, there are so many standards like IEC 62443, CIS, NIST standard, HIPAA HITRUST for their payment quorum for their payment gateway, and Purdue and PCI DSS for payment gateway, HIPAA HITRUST for their privacy thing, all that is for the fifth bucket. And I am not restricting with this. There are more and more controls based on the maturity of the organization and interest of the organization, which will never end. As the industry is growing, there will be more and more vulnerability, more and more threat, which will result in more and more risk. So the control bandwidth is also going to increase. Let me now take you through the overall generic cybersecurity controls. I am again maintaining the product, market, delivery, service, legal buckets. Product almost supported by hardware, market supported by software, delivery supported by network, service supported by data. Legally, the applications are supporting the legal requirements. So this is uniformly I am maintaining this throughout my technical document. The hardware related controls are endpoint security, endpoint detection and response, MDM, mobile device management, mobile application management, encryption. These are all generic control, but we cannot skip them in textile industry. These are also important equally. For market relating to software, multi-factor authentication to access, identity access management, GRC, SAM, software asset management, RASI and DASI kind of risk assessment methodology are all very important. For the delivery networking, SIM, security information event management, DLP, micro segmentation in the OT shop floor are vital, which is equally vital in other industries as well, which are using manufacturing processes. In the service bucket for data, the application cloud security, IP security, intellectual property security, data lake security are all vital to ensure that the customer information are protected. And again, under legal application, there are ISO standard, GDPR standard, and the environmental health and safety standard, cyber security maturity model certification. These are all to be considered, which are again recommended controls. Having seen that, I would like to take you through the roadmap. Again, I am creating a maturity model starting with initial, then second level is developed, third level is enhanced, fourth level is managed, and finally optimized. So in these 5 levels, I am creating a complete roadmap of the technical implementation. It is not a one-day activity or 1 year activity. It will go to 4 years. If I start current year in 2022, assume that I started in April, implementing it for an organization called Southside Limited. It is something like Tata's West Side. I am calling this company as MSK Southside Limited or Southside Inc. So that for a limited company, Indian-based limited company to become a global player, they are putting a lot of IT transformation initiative, digitization initiative, but they have to equally throw a lot of importance on their cyber security initiatives. In 2022, they are kickstarting the entire cyber security journey with a risk assessment. That is phase 0. And we are in May, which is Q1 month 2, where we are talking about the project Cyber Southside as a project. After completing the risk assessment and management acceptance for implementation, in the maturity level 1, layer 1, attack surface management, that is very, very vital. First of all, we have to find out all the attack surface, which is not common for other industry, but for textile industry, this is the best approach to start. Attack surface, all the holes to be patched up, all the attack surface to be identified and arrested to a great extent possible. That will require 4 quarters. In the maturity level 2, which requires only 2 quarters in the year 2023. So by end of 2023, the third party risk assessment and risk management or risk controls are also in place. Where lot of the textile industry is the one of the important industry which is handling with lot of third parties in terms of all the processes we have seen earlier. In the maturity level 3, security awareness and skill enhancement is to be improvised. That is, skill to be enhanced, security awareness to be enhanced. It is not the basic security awareness, it is an enhanced security awareness to make the company ready to take up the enhanced level of the security to go towards the managed level of security. That is the security maturity model I am talking about. The 4th level of maturity, which is cyber resilience. Once the attack surface is identified and arrested, third party risks are managed properly, appropriately, security awareness and skills are enhanced. Now it is time for creating the cyber resilience. We can squeeze it based on the size of the organization and their number of presence in the countries, wherein I am assuming something and maybe this quarter can be weak or we can shrink it to 3 years instead of 4 years. All that are fine, but this is the roadmap and milestones which are to be achieved step by step. Cyber resilience cannot be the starting point here. So that will be the 4th level of maturity, where 2 quarters will be taken to study and complete that. Once that is done, the company is ready to get on to the final maturity lab, which is high-tech manufacturing and high-tech security company in the textile sector. That will start in the year 2025 and which will go, again it is a journey, right? It will never end. We have to keep, then the company's maturity level will also grow. So this is how I am visualizing a roadmap, technical implementation roadmap for cyber security implementation in one of the textile giant. And based on the size of the company, based on the investment based on the ROCE, return on security investment, what the company is expecting, what the volume of risk acceptance they are ready with. All these are factors to modify this roadmap, but this is the preferred, very optimized roadmap for an industry of this size. So I hope this will be very useful for understanding the cyber security implementation in a technical way. There are slides which can be paused and the terms, whatever I have not spelled out, can be read comfortably. With this extensive one, I am just saying thank you for giving this opportunity to prepare a complete technical document in addition to the non-technical position paper. And now I have done some kind of improvisation in terms of assuming a company called Southside Inc. and making it interesting case study kind of experience. Thank you.